text, hey, you're low on milk.
Hey, you have one egg left.
Yeah.
It smells like Evan's farts in here.
And so what does the fridge order when
Yeah.
it smells like my farts?
What does it order when it smells like
Lactaid?
A bidet.
A bidet.
The toots are coming. We shall order a bidet.
Toots?
Yeah, the toots. Alright, so Joel, walk us through what's...
Well, Logan from Big Mouth Announcing right now is promising everybody that he's going to get them some Big Swig if we race safely, I believe.
Is there a big swig cream?
Well, yeah, sometimes. Basically, he was saying, like, the week before this, there was a lot of crashes from pushing and stuff, and that he was like, yo, it's not that important. I don't care how good you think you are. Don't do dumb shit, and if it's really that important to you, like, I'll buy you some Big Swig, because that's typically the kinds of things that you can win if you podium or difference.
So don't go for the creams.
Even though we're having creams, you shouldn't go for that.
Don't go for this cream.
Like,
No, you can go for them. You shouldn't injure people to do it.
Don't be aggressive in your creams.
like lap 7 is a pizza cream, but if you lose, just come to me and I'll buy you a pizza.
So no one can lose. It's like Little Leagues now.
That was my understanding. Everybody's a
He
winner.
seems like a cool guy.
He's a cool guy. He actually sponsors the Brose cream. I asked him the story on that. He wanted some rosé, but it's like kind of a girly drink. So he was like, let's call it something else. Let's call it rosé. Make it manly.
Oh,
And we're off.
So you're pushing like 105 watts here?
So I don't have a power meter yet. Well, I just got a power meter, but I don't have it for this race.
So we're just going to speculate on your power output?
Yeah, you can wildly speculate on my power output.
Right now, I'm going to say
23.
How many riders are lined up in this race?
Guessing somewhere around 40 to 50.
So walk us through, what loop are we on?
This is that's a great question. This is the big one. I don't know. I'll look it up later.
Go and find the speed.
This is not the speed one. And it's not a championship loop.
Well, we've eliminated 2.
I think it's the whole shebang loop.
Like Grand Prix.
Oh, something like that. So there's a La Mancha Grand. Yeah, I think you're right. I think it is Grand Prix.
Uh-huh.
Something like that. I forget. I don't really pay attention what loop it is.
Are they paying you for that name drop?
Maybe. No.
This is semi-pro 3/4.
I don't know what semi-pro means to you, but this
It's like a 30K millionaire.
3-4.
Like the guys that drive around BMWs but make $28,000 a year.
I guess so. Okay. I wouldn't know anything about that. They have a minivan.
No. 2 cars with insurance, a minivan and a bus.
Yeah. No, the bus is on your insurance.
Urine?
Your insurance.
Sure we re-up that one. Pretty sure it's lapsed.
Hey, why don't you tell the class what we're recording?
We are recording from Mont-Sainte-Anne, Canada. We're here for the UCI Mountain Bike World Championships, just hanging out. And I am Joel Carroll, joined by my teammates, Justin Carver and Evan Schneider.
I don't race Driveway.
Evan has raced Driveway. Justin races Driveway. You guys race Driveway.
Evan, tell us about your experience racing Driveway.
Yeah. My one time in the Driveway, I was feeling confident, like, I can race a mountain bike. I can hang with the Cat 5 crew on the Driveway. Sure. 7 laps later, I am spit out the back, and on the final lap, I'm coming up to the finish line, and then I get lapped by the leaders.
Ah, the leaders.
And I got scored like 4th place.
Nice.
And I didn't know who to talk to.
So I didn't attack here. I don't know why. This might be a pre-lap. Probably not. I was probably just trying to make people hurt. I think it's fun to do that, especially early in the race, because then I have time to recover myself. But
so you're the guy that just makes others suffer for no good reason at all, and there's no benefit to you at all, like Big Swig?
Well, there's benefit to me. I gained fitness. I entered the Driveway season this year thinking it would be a good way to just build some fitness for mountain biking. It took me a couple of weeks, but I finally figured out how to be more efficient. I think I gained some fitness as well.
You realized that you were the Thursday World's prime cream champ?
Yeah, so cream champ. Yep, gotta get my picture taken every week. That's important.
Looks like I spent way too long in the front, and now people are coming around. I'm just learning how to use the software.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Give me some tasting notes on that, Evan. Oh, that is so bad.
That might be some taco season. some Canadian taco season.
This guy's going pretty hard. Well, maybe it is pretty hard. There seems to be some attacking happening.
I'm going to estimate 128 watts here.
Yeah, probably 120 watts. Probably right.
Or 1280.
Is that with the Bosch motor that's in your bottom right?
So it looks like Jose Caterhagen went off the front there. He wanted that cream. I believe it was some salsa. He was like, yeah, I need that salsa.
Salsa.
Yeah, no, it's a salsa in a water bottle.
Like a jar of salsa?
It's a jar of salsa from Jaime Spanish Village. This is Eric. Eric and I work very well together. We like to go off the front, and Eric is a decent. Like, he can just hold 340 forever. And so it's just nice to do breaks with him because he's going to be consistent and solid.
Gain a lot of friends at home.
I have gained some friends. I think I've gained some not friends as well. Oh, there's my teammate Dennis. So before this, Eric and myself and a couple other guys formed a break. That was Crash Fest week. Since Eric and myself and some others were in a break, I went for all the preems and got all of them, and I think I pissed off some of my break mates. I saw some race reports in Strava afterwards that there were some people in that were not very happy about that. But, Eric and I had fun. We were laughing. I think I ended up getting second, and the break mates that were complaining about, me taking all the preems, I think we dropped them, so,
I know.
Yeah.
If you're complaining about not winning preems, fuck off.
So there goes an attack by a BC rider. Kuya follows. My teammate Dennis goes with him. And you'll see I try to bridge here in a second too, because it's cool to have two in a break with your teammate. But I also did not want to tow the field up to my teammate. So I put in a decent number of watts there.
Snappy acceleration away.
Yeah, a little snappy acceleration to try to get some separation, but you can see that Kuya is also trying to get away. This is the preem lap, actually. So Kuya's trying to get away. He does that a lot. He goes for a lot of preems. He flies off the front by himself quite a bit. Generally gets reeled back in. That's my teammate Dennis. I tell him, hey, I'll take a pull. I'm going to go chase this guy, but I'm going to set you up for the preem, basically. So I put in, if I had to guess, let's see, we're hitting 31 miles an hour right now. I'm probably close to 400 watts maybe, just to reel Kuya back in. He's standing up, pedaling. I remember, this didn't really hurt me too much, but Kuya did, a sprint to build this gap, and so as soon as he realizes he's caught, he kind of pulls off. So then Dennis comes around, and I'm thinking I'm going to let him just get away. And I start thinking about when I'm going to slow down and how I'm going to block the people behind. But based on Dennis's body language, his head's kind of coming up and down, he's pretty tired. I think he doesn't have it. So right here I decide, okay, I'm just going to put in this attack, and I know this is a narrow section that people aren't going to be able to come around my teammate very easily. I know Dennis is smart enough to try to block a little for me. And since this is a preem lap, we're going to go for whatever the trinket was this lap. I believe it was the beet drink mix. So
it's important.
Yeah, got to get the drink mix.
Got to get the preem.
Yeah, and then have to put in a little minor sprint just to keep off one of the moonshot guys from behind me. Frank, I think, had followed me in on that.
Where are the pizza preems? Give the people what they want.
There are pizza preems, yeah. Trauber Nutrition, he sponsors the Year 313 pizza preem. You get a gift card. So then this moonshot guy is going to come around in a second. I think I flick him through right here. And he looks at me and he goes, let's go. And I'm like, yeah, okay, let's go. 800 watts probably. He's doing a seated sprint right now. And I'm barely hanging on. We're hitting 30 miles an hour on these flats. And I was like, what is this guy doing? I'm struggling to keep up because I just did a minor sprint to take that preem. And then this guy does an attack where he thinks he's pulling me. And then you see that little elbow flick. He's trying to get me to come through. And I was just I think you can hear in the audio on the other one, on the other track here. But I say I'm still recovering, sorry. And I pull through and I'm basically coasting at 250 watts or less, trying to not disappoint this guy.
Maybe that's a strategy.
I mean, you're basically reeling them back into everyone else.
Well, not necessarily, because there was no one on my wheel at the time, but then I looked back around this point here and realized the whole field had bridged the gap, so there's really no reason to do work anymore. Seems like there's some more attacks going here. I'm not too concerned about those. There's Paul Porterfield in the Weaver kit right in front of me. He's a guy to watch out for. Very good at the end of the race.
Roughly, how far into the race are we?
I think we're like 4 laps, so probably about halfway through.
Yeah. So trying to like make a break race halfway through, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
It does if you have the right combination of people. The issue with the 3-4 race is you have basically 2 big teams, BC and Weaver, and then you've got a couple of smaller teams that can sometimes get some coordination going, like Moonshot is probably really the only one. There's the Pure guys, I think there's only like 2 of them. Our team, we have basically Dennis, myself, and sometimes we have a third teammate, Pierce, mix a little bit. But really, the Weaver guys are not working as a team. The VC guys are not really working as a team. The Moonshot guys do work as a team, and so they can be a threat if they actually do anything. There's a couple of Night Owls guys that try to work as a team. And so if you get basically a Night Owls guy, a Moonshot guy, maybe a guy, a Weaver guy, and a VC guy in a break, then people may not chase that, and that could go the distance. But there's so many wild cards in this race. Like this guy in front of me with the pig socks, I know that he just started coming out, I think, the week before this, because he was asking me some questions about Driveway and stuff. And I know that he's probably willing to chase down some breaks, so he may pull the field back to a break or try to bridge forward or something like that. He seems like a pretty strong rider, so
Yeah, show me your move.
So I guess the one team I didn't mention was Blitz. The last mini-series, they put a guy on the top step, Steele Gonzalez, I believe. They have another guy, Nick, who's very quick, who I've been on podiums with a couple of times. He does very well at the end of the race.
Should we start a Driveway fantasy league?
You could do a Driveway Fantasy League. The problem is, like, you probably don't know who's going to be racing until the night of. So if you did, like, the P123, you can include, like, all the Oboes guys and all the Dassault guys and all the Super Squadron guys and all the CCR guys. A lot of those guys travel for races every week, and so it's hard to, I don't know if they're going to race or not. Or who else is, Meteor, Giordana, Allied, Colin, and Kevin Gerkins, and Michael Sheehan. They travel for races quite a bit, so you don't know if they're going to get driver or not.
Oh, sure, you're part of the game.
Yeah.
Do your homework.
Yeah, you have to follow them on Facebook to know if they're going to be a driver that week or not. Tristan, I need to know, are you going to Driveway this week? I had selected you for fantasy. As I came around, those people probably jumped up a little higher, maybe 300 or so, but that was a tight corner. Yeah, I remember, like, I had my handlebars in front of that guy, and then...
You seemed to show some discomfort there.
Yeah, well, I had my handlebars in front of him, and so I was like, this is my line, and then he ended up squeezing me pretty tight on that, which didn't make me super happy, but we both came out unscathed. I pick up a couple of spots here, probably without too much effort, and we get an attack. I'm going to let Moonshot cover that if they want to. I'm waiting for somebody to basically close that gap, because single guy right off the front isn't, like, too much of an issue. If you have, like, 3 or 4 guys going off the front, then somebody probably needs to close it down. But especially these Moonshot guys, because they actually were doing a lot of, like, strategy stuff this race, I expected one of them to try to close it.
The speculation at this point is that Jules just barely holding on for dear life.
I won't make it this long.
This dude over there on the field just putting down 3,000 watts. Thursday World.
Yeah, so the guy that you're talking about that came around at 3,000 watts or whatever, he's another VC rider, and so he's going to chase his teammate who's a VC rider. So basically we have two VC teammates at a break. You'll see another VC rider just came around me and sat in front of me, essentially, to try to control the pace. I recognized that was a dangerous situation, so I came around him because I knew he was not going to have any incentive to pull the field up. So I'm going to have to eat my words a little bit there when I said that VC wasn't working as a team, because clearly here they have a little bit of team tactics going. So I'm going to try to come around and close this gap. I'll get some help here in a second. I'm going to have the guy fly by on my right side, and he comes around pretty strong enough to where I'm not able to grab his wheel immediately. So he wasn't too much of a help, really, but I still continue to try to close the gap to him. So he catches on the wheel of these two VC riders right before we go into these corners right by the announcer booth, and that causes the VC riders to essentially slow up a little bit because they realize they've been caught, which allows me to close the final meters to that gap a little easier.
Logan's announcing that this is the Brose Preem lap as well. So those VC riders, they're going to pull off here in a second because they're tired. They've been off the front for a little bit.
There was a couple of races for the 3-4 that the average speeds would have been like 24 miles an hour or less that I was just not happy setting in. So I pushed them up to like 26, 27. Yeah, here Nick goes. And I'm not quite sure why he's doing this because I'm pretty sure it's like 2 or 3 laps to go. And I know that Nick likes to put in a big effort like right at the end. So he's doing like a lot of work right now and the whole field is on our back. And so I'm just like, I don't know why you're doing what you're doing. He flicks me through and I think he was talking to me too and he was like, oh, what the hell? Because I slowed down. And I was like, dude, we don't have a gap. I don't know why you're going that hard. Kuya doesn't attack. And that doesn't bother me too much because he generally gets reeled back in. So yeah, Kuya doesn't attack. I let these guys cover it and just hop on now on the shotgun wheels. I was on aluminum shallow wheel with Kevlar encased commuter tires, butyl rubber tubes. Got these new wheels, which are like a 45mm deep carbon rim. I put latex tubes and some high quality 320 TPI specialized turbo cotton tires on there because they're on sale. But that all happened at once, so I didn't have like a control variable. Basically, the week I put those wheels on,
You went from Cat 5 to 3.
more or less, to be honest, like it was. So before I put those wheels on, like I was finishing top 6 every week. There was one series where like I think I won the series just by kind of finishing top 6 and getting points every week. I think I only won 1 or 2 of the races in 4 or 5. After I put these wheels on, I think I won 5 straight 4 or 5 races that I entered. It was a significant efficiency savings, and I believe most of it was probably from tire and tube combination. So Kuya doesn't attack here. I remember thinking like, gosh, what a terrible spot for an attack. So here's my teammate. I'm thinking that he's going to help me with a lead out, and so I'm trying to hold his wheel, but I'm not very good at that yet, and I'll let people take it from me. So yeah, here he's kind of on the right. I've got a guy on my right, so I can't necessarily bulldoze over and take that back. I could if I wanted to, but
Thursday Worlds came out.
right, yeah, Thursday Worlds, who cares? Yeah, Logan already said he'd buy me some big swings, so this is the second to last lap. Dennis was in front of me, and I lost his wheel, and the pace like slowed up quite a bit there, as you'll see. And here, since it's 2 laps to go, I'm not going to attack anymore, basically until the end. I'm going to try to get myself into a good position. So Kuya comes around on an attack, and this is dangerous because 2 laps to go. If he gets away, that could happen. So I think I yell at Dennis here to go, and then Moonshot also yells at their guy Frank to go. I had to do a little bit of work there just to get myself into a relatively good position because I felt like I was a little too far back. Yeah, Dennis is still up there, which is nice. I'm going to pick up a couple of spots here too on the inside. And then this is last lap, I'm pretty sure, so we're going to be picking the pace up quite a bit. This is a downhill.
What's going through your head? I'm sure you're thinking position. What sort of cues are you thinking?
Well, if somebody's going faster than me and I have the opportunity to grab the wheel, I'm going to try to do that. And then just be as efficient as possible. This guy doesn't attack, which is perfect. This is a great lead out for me because these guys, they think they need to go as well. So they go with it, and this is not a lot of watts to hold on to this. So this is great. But I know that there's this guy coming up on my right. He's trying to force me off this wheel. And he actually is successful at it for a second. I still feel like I'm wasting too much energy here, and I'm able to take the wheel back. Night Owl's train comes through on the left, and right there you get a crash. All the Moonshot guys go down. Eric slowed down. I had to go wide around, and I have a split second of hesitation when I'm trying to choose to go left or right around Kuya, so you'll see my speed dip there as I try to figure that out. I end up going left around him, and then here's Jose Petterhagen, and I kind of get stuck behind him a little bit. He's already tired, going pretty slow. I know I can beat him in the sprint. I know I can beat Paul in the sprint, but I just have to choose to get around him, and I don't
choose to do that. I'd choose to hold his wheel for a second longer, and that allows Paul to build the gap. I was looking at Paul and thinking that he was a little more tired and wasn't going to have it for the sprint, but you can never count him out, so rolled him for second there. But Paul is sneaky, he took him back to do better.
If you made it this far, thanks very much. I had some issues with the audio recording, as well as I'm just learning this video editing software, so hopefully be able to improve the quality of these videos in the future. I now have a power meter. I'll hopefully add a heart rate monitor and get some more data for you guys as well. But if you have any feedback or comments, I'd love to hear from you, so leave it below. Thanks.